Hello everybody, my name is Shannon, this is Made by Boo, and I am recording today from a little bit outside of Boise, Idaho, and I don't have a ton today, but I do have some things that I'm very excited about. So I have 2 finished objects and I kind of call it 2.5 works in progress. It'll make a little bit more sense when I get to it. So I will start with the first finished object, my tiniest one. So a couple weeks ago, I had completed making myself a pair of socks, and I was working on the matching pair for my youngest child. She has seen me work on these, saw them laying on my table waiting to be blocked, saw them blocked, and saw the size and still does not realize that they are for her. I think she just thinks that they're mine, even though they were laying there like this for a week. So she's going to be surprised a little bit later today to get these. I don't make her a lot of hand knit socks, and she happens to not be feeling her best, so I feel like she'll be extra excited to get matching socks with mom when she's not feeling very good. Almost skipped what the yarn is. The yarn is from Ruby and Roses, and it was part of her Taylor Swift collection from last year. So the color is Love Story is the yellow part, and the pink part is Rosy Cheeks. I'm pretty sure you can get the Rosy Cheeks as an individual color still, but I'm not 100% positive. I'm not sure you can get the Love Story anymore. That is one of the highs and the lows of some of these dyers who do the collections where they come out and as soon as they're gone, you can never get them again. If you want it, you have to get it. And then if you realize later what it would be the perfect project for, you got to hope you have enough. Which luckily for matching socks, 1 sock set was enough. So that works out really well. So they are just a very simple vanilla sock. I do that most of the time. I did 10 rounds of 1x1 ribbing. I just didn't really feel like doing any more than that. Mine, I did 30 rounds on the leg. For my little ones, I only did 10 because she likes short. Did a heel flap and gusset with a ribbed flap. And then I did a rounded toe for me, and I did a tapered toe for her. So yeah, I will surprise her with our matching socks later, and knowing her, she's 7, so I don't know if we'll end up wearing our matching socks for the rest of the day, which we are almost to noon, or if we will plan on wearing our matching socks tomorrow, but I am sure we're going to be wearing our matching socks together very soon. My next finished object, I only have the 2, so this is my North Avenue Slipover. I still have the stitch marker in here. I already took the photo for the cover shot, so you will see the stitch marker still in it. It is my little pigeon. I don't remember where I got it. I got it from Etsy somewhere. But when I filmed 2 weeks ago, I had the back done down to this arm place and was this far on the front. So since then, I finished the front, joined in the round, and got all the way to the bottom. So this is, take it out before I forget. I have not blocked it yet. I'm going to put it into soak as soon as I'm done filming. So the North Avenue Slipover is by Brianna Lupino of Little Wolf Knits. And the yarn is Noro, color number 3, Noro Madeira. I don't know that I'm getting it right. But it's a single ply, a little bit of a uneven yarn, but not fully uneven, with all these little specks of color. It is a 80 or 60% wool, 30% silk, 10% alpaca. So it is going to be nice and warm, a little bit soft. There's definitely some little long hairs that have kind of fallen out whenever I was working on it. So there's that little bit of scratchy from the long hairs, but not excessively. So I made the pattern to fit. She recommends making it with a lot of positive ease, so it's a little loose and baggy, and I just kind of picked my size and went for it, and I did slightly wonder later if I should have made it a little bigger and baggier, but I do like how it turned out. I made a couple of changes to it. So the first one I did is I did an extra 6 rounds up here at the neck hole. I do not like a high neck, and I So I wanted that little bit of extra space. And then it does say to do 10 round or 7 inches or so. I don't know. It's a paid for pattern. How long under the arm will depend on what size you're making, all of that. But I added a couple inches because it is supposed to be cropped, but I did not want it as cropped as it was going to be. Then the only other change I made is you're supposed to have ribbing around the neck, and I looked at it and I thought it looked finished. And again, I don't like a high neckline, so I chose to skip that. So it is probably not my most dignified look putting this on. So it is, as you can see, it comes down a little bit. You can see a little bit right here. It would probably look really good with a collared shirt, but that's not what I'm wearing right now. Hopefully this is still within frame. So it is a little loose on me, but not like excessively baggy. And it comes, mine ends just a couple inches above the belly button. I had thought about doing another inch or two, but I did not want it to kind of hit in between, like right at my waist where like there's big changes. I thought it would just not look great. And so I kind of figured it was cropped to here or do another like 4 or 5 inches so that it was really long, and then you can't see the shirt underneath it. So what's the point there? But if I had done it to the length, it would have been like to here. And I feel like I like this just a little bit better. I don't worry that I'm going to like stand up and have it hit weird. So yeah, those are, let me see. I don't even know if I'm still in frame. There we go. Those are the 2 finished objects that I have right now. I'm really excited to finish this. I am a little bit worried that it took me a little too long to make it and that it may already be a bit too warm to wear it. But we will just have to kind of see. I do like that I have like the grayish with all the rainbow in it because it'll work well for spring or for fall. Both of those times when you want just that little bit of transitional clothing. And it has been kind of cool here in Idaho this last week, but it's also supposed to heat up again. So hopefully I'll get to wear it a few times before it's too hot, but if not, it will be here towards that fall to winter time, and that will just be what we do. So I did get up to take this off and realized I did forget to mention I bought 3 skeins of the Noro for this, and I did end up dipping into the 3rd one. I wasn't sure if I would, but I mean, you can see I do still have quite a bit left, so I could have done that extra length if I wanted it. I'm not 100% sure what I will do with this. It may be enough to make like some little mini fingerless gloves for the winter. I'm not sure, so it's just going to kind of go into my scrap bins for right now. But I almost forgot to mention how much of the yarn I used and how much I had left. So yeah, like choosing not to do the collar or anything, it was 100% a choice. I definitely had the yarn for it. I just decided not to. So, of my 3 works in progress here, sorry, parched today. So, of my 3 works in progress, 2 of them have been seen before, but one was on pause and is sort of back. And then the other one is new. So we'll start with maybe putting stuff in reach. We'll see. So we'll start with the big one because that's probably going to be the hardest to see in my little fun basket that I got at a thrift store. So this is the Wild Ride shawl from Aspen Knits. And it is done using, did not grab the label. It is Leo and Roxy. Here we go. Leo and Roxy is my main skein in the color Rhapsody. And then the mini skeins in here are different people. So I can only sort of give the answer on that one. Sorry, I should not try to bend down and talk at the same time. So last time I showed it, we were down here at that little Purl. So all 5 of these mini skeins are from Knitted Niceties. And then the pattern calls for these 5, and then you do this little chunk of the main color here. And then you're supposed to repeat those colors again. And I just, when I started it, it was like, I do like this, but I feel like I'd always look at it and wonder where the rest of the rainbow was. So I just kind of went stash diving, found some other mini skeins. I don't remember where any of these are from. They were not all labeled. And if they had been labeled, I did not keep the label when I wound them up and threw them in here like I should have. But I have now gotten into, I did a teal and now working on this deep blue, which will then go to this bright purple, to a light lavender, and then to this gray. And yeah, it's chugging along nicely. I did not get a ton of work on it, but I got, you know, a decent amount. The rows are now much longer than they were at the beginning, so while I do want to be able to do that, like, yeah, but I did the pink stripe and the beginning and started the red all in one day, but it's like, yeah, but like, it started with 3 stitches. It is more than that now. I honestly don't know that I have the correct stitch count. I have not been counting it every time. I'm just kind of making sure that it looks good because it's a shawl. So this shawl is going to be for my mother. I am traveling next month to see her right around her birthday. So I'm hoping, I mean, I do have a pair of socks that I knitted her and I repaired another pair of socks for her. So like, I'm already bringing her some knitted stuff, but like, once I realized that this was technically meant for her, like it was good for her, really seemed like I should just hurry up and finish it so I can bring it with me. Maybe that's not logical to everybody, but that is what makes sense to me. All right, so the next project that you have seen before, this is the one that had been on pause for a little while. I think I have the label in here. Yes, I do. So this yarn is from Muse 2320. It is from the Troop 2320 set that came out in 2023. It was a subscription that year. And the name of this color is Lake Itasca. It did have a mini skein that came with it. I don't remember what color it was. I think it was a gray. I don't think it was the gray that's going in there. But I was not planning on putting it into this hat, so I just tossed it into my scrap bin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not that one. So this is a Musselburgh Hat by Ysolda Teagues. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. And I was making it for my husband. I already made it once. And my knitting gauge had changed. So even though I took gauge up here and everything seemed like it would be fine, when I actually finished it, it was going to be like 4 or 5 inches too big. Like it was big and baggy and it was bad. So it kind of went in timeout for a little bit, and I recently did kind of force myself to measure the gauge, rip it back, figure out where it needs to be. And then when I needed something the other day, I grabbed it and I started working on it again. So that's why this is like this is kind of my half work in progress. So when I ripped it back from a completed hat, I ripped it all the way back down here to my little stitch marker. I'm keeping that one in because that's, if I have to rip it back again, I want to know how far I ripped. And then I got all of this up to this stitch marker done in one day, and then a little bit more done after that. And then after that, that was probably a week ago, and I have not worked on it since because I already failed at this hat once. So I need, and I should probably do it this weekend while I have a little bit of time, I'm going to put this on try it on tubing and make my husband try it on so I can see, like, is it excessively too big, excessively too small? I've done another, like, what, 4 or 5 inches? That is so much better to rip out that much versus the, like, foot of knitting I did before. So before I keep going on this, I'm going to make him try it on. And now, I mean, we're approaching summer, so it's not like a big stress, hurry up and finish it project. But I would like him to have it before next winter because the Musselburgh hat, if you are not familiar with it, is a double layer hat, and it does get pretty cold out here. So it would be nice when he's like walking down to take the kiddo to school for him to have that nice, heavy double layer hat. So this is why it's kind of my half project, because it did get some work. but it's not like an active, I'm working on it all the time project. It's just kind of in the background. I need to do a little bit of something else before I can do more on it. But it is back in rotation. I am planning and hoping to get it done. Did I leave? I knew I heard them. Thing of stitch markers. I do not want to lose that if I don't work on this again in the next little bit. So my last work in progress, weirdly, I think the label for this one is in this bag too. So I do try to keep a few projects like ready to go, where if I know that, hey, I'm going to need another pair of socks soon, but I'm not quite ready for it, I'll cake it up over the weekend and then just have it in a bag ready to grab if I need it in the middle of the week. My job is not like excessively busy. I don't have a super long commute or anything like that, but I do like to just have something available versus needing to wind yarn in the middle of the week. I don't know why, but in the middle of the week, that seems like a huge project and I don't want to do it. So that means the label was still in the bag. Long story short. So this yarn is from Lady Purl, and it was part of a video game mystery box I got. And the colorway is Arcade Carpet. So I got this a little while ago and it's been sitting there and it appealed to me. So I am working on a pair of socks. And I do think that the color of this yarn does do such a good job for Arcade Carpet. I can't decide if I like the pooling for Arcade Carpet or not, because at first I thought, it's just going to kind of go half and half. But then it would curve out and then suddenly twirl around, and it's very chaotic, which I think works well for that. I am doing a kind of pattern sock. I'm not doing like a pattern, but it was, again, Arcade Carpet. I feel like it's got these neon colors, and then I'm just thinking back to like 80s, 90s, where it's some like how like circles, triangles, like these weird shapes, and it's Arcade Carpets are crazy busy from what I remember. It's been a while since I've stared at an Arcade's carpet. But I decided to give it a little bit of texture, so I did 20 rounds of 1x1 ribbing up at the top. And then after that, I started doing 2 rounds of stockinette and 2 rounds of 2x2 rib. So it doesn't it's a little bit stretchy that way, but mostly it's just kind of got a little bit of extra bump to it. Instead of being super smooth, it does have that little bit of, I don't know, kind of like little circle bumps. Somebody probably has done this and sold it as a specific pattern. This is just what I was doing. And yeah, I'm on the first sock. I just got through the heel flap and gusset. I'm hoping by the time I film again in a couple weeks from now that these socks will be completely done. Weirdly, I would kind of like to have them when I go on my trip to California next month, because when we drive to California, we do not always, but sometimes we do stop partway along the way, and where we stay has like a great diner, a little arcade where the kids like to go. So there's that part of me that's like, it would be fun to wear Arcade Carpet socks in the arcade. And I don't know, maybe I can compare whether or not they are close to each other. I don't think they will be, but I can check. So that is all that I have as far as knitting and crochet and spinning. I have done a little bit of spinning, but I'm actually a little bit mad at my spinning wheel right now, so I don't want to talk about it too much. I say I'm mad at my spinning wheel. I was having a little bit of like power connection issues this morning and just decided I don't want to deal with this today. So I will have to show that later. Yeah, it's actually been a lot less of a chaotic couple of weeks than I expected. So when I recorded last time, my in-laws were getting in that day and they were going to be with us for like a week and a half. So they would have been with us over 2 weekends. And then they ended up having to leave early with stuff to do with their car. So they were only with us for like 5 days. And then this weekend, we were going to be trying to get together with one of my brothers, and then stuff came up for him. So we weren't able to get together. We even thought about going out to do something this weekend, but then my youngest is not feeling her best, and then we had a whole bunch of rain. And so it's actually been a lot more relaxing and just kind of calm than it has been for a little while, which is definitely good with all the stuff that was happening with our crawl space. It was chaotic and stressful. And then starting next month, we're going to have a little bit of travel here and there. Not a ton, just like I'm only going on 2 of the 3 trips, but they're over about a month. So it's going to feel like a lot going on. So having a few weekends or weeks of downtime is definitely not a bad thing for us. Work is work, so I mean that's why I don't normally talk about it too much on here. And I do have some more projects that I am planning on starting, but I am trying to, power through, finish some of these things. I want to make sure that shawl is ready to block and in plenty of time to bring and give to my mom. I do have another shawl that I actually wound up the yarn for this morning. I have my next pair of socks wound up, and I am waiting to get some yarn, which I know I am trying to prioritize my stash. I still am. But I did order some yarn to make a Bay Day tank from Brianna Lupino, and it is actually using Little Wolf Knits yarn, so I'm excited to see that. I just really wanted to make the tank top, but I didn't have enough of any one yarn, and it was like, you know what? It's the reason why diets don't work. You can't tell yourself no forever. But if I am still doing a lot more projects and planning to use the yarn I already have, it shouldn't be a big deal to buy something occasionally within reason. So I have definitely had to stop myself from remembering like this is within reason. But I'm expecting to get that yarn in, I want to say the tracking said next weekend. So it's like, cool, I can kind of spend this week just trying to finish up a few things and be ready to kind of dive in and get that project done as soon as possible. So that is all that I have for today. This is probably going to be a very short one based on how long I have been talking and not talking. And it looks like the audio is much better this week from last week, so that is also really good. So I'm going to get going on editing this video and getting my vest blocked. With the slight cold weather we've had recently, I may be lucky enough to be able to wear it once or twice. So only if I get it blocked though. So until next time, have a very happy making.